Just outside of Edmonton, there exists a place where every life is cherished and every animal is safe. Referred to simply as the farm by many of its visitors, Out of Africa Animal Sanctuary was started by Sandy Raubenheimer shortly after her and her husband emigrated to Canada with their young family.
We came to Canada in '99 and we lived in the city in St. Albert, and my husband had a huge desire to always be on the farm. So we came out here and we purchased the farm in September of 2002, and we've been here ever since. How it started was kitty corner to us is the reserve, and we had a car up for sale outside. And a gentleman came and he said his cousin wanted to buy a car. And a few days later, the cousin came and he said, I have some horses on the reserve, and you got a farm with no horses? You can't have a farm without horses? I'll swap you the car for the horses. And that was the beginning of us having bigger livestock on the farm. And then as it started to grow, people would say, oh, there's a horse up the road and he's starving, or somebody's got these animals and he's sick and he can't look after them anymore. And that's how it basically got started, how we started rescuing or bringing these animals here. We just did it naturally. You know, we just built stalls, stables, shelters. We brought the animals here, we fed them, we took care of all the bills, we did everything. We just brought them out here. And as they aged, and some of them, you know, were sick when they came, so as they passed away, we took care of them, that type of thing. In winter they go to the renderers, but in summer we bury them, you know, somewhere on the farm. Somebody said to me, you should start a charity. I had never thought about it before. It stuck in my head for years and years and years that I could do more if I could get help. I could help the animals and maybe help children. And so at the end of the day, a friend of ours helped me get the charity going. In fact, it was predominantly all his work. We got the charity going, and ever since then it started growing. We have volunteers on Sundays from 11 o'clock. We bring in more and more animals. Now we are a charity, and my goal is to be able to offer city kids from different organizations, maybe like YES or YMCA or places like that, an opportunity to come out and work with animals and work on a farm and understand where chicken wings come from, understand where eggs come from, understand what it takes to have an animal, because it's not petting the animal that's having the animal. It's paying the bills, taking care of their health, being responsible for their behavior, that type of thing. And I'm hoping to be able to broaden that for kids who don't always have the opportunity. We don't get to choose our parents. That's another reason why I want to give back to so many of these kids, because they didn't get to choose who their parents were. They didn't get to choose whether they live in the city or they live in the country. They didn't get to choose all of this. They just have to deal with the cards that they're dealt. And we expect them to do so much and make such a good job of it, but they didn't get to choose it. Because I'm more than sure that if every child was given the choice, they'd like to grow up in a nice rich home with a big video machine or TV games or whatever it is. But kids don't get that choice. My father was extremely passionate about animals, and when we lived in Africa, he volunteered for 10 years at the SPCA in Kitwe in Zambia. And my mother has an absolute love for animals, and I think between the two of them, they unwittingly instilled this passion and love of animals in us. Because my brothers also have it, but in varying degrees. But for me, it's definitely all. No passion, no operation, period. This is not a job. This is not something you do part-time. This is something that you have to be so passionate about that you will, I don't want to say sacrifice everything because that's being way too dramatic, but you will sacrifice a hell of a lot for this. And that means that rain, snow, wind, heat, it doesn't matter what the weather throws at us, these animals have to be looked after. These animals have to be fed. Their poop has got to be cleaned up. So it is absolutely a passion. It is something that is so deep inside, I don't even know if I could switch it off if I wanted to. If something was to happen to me related to the animals, that's great. But if I was to be killed by some jackass in a car, or driving too fast, or that would not work for me. I'd come back.
To follow the adventures of Sandy and the animals, or to learn how to help them out, please check out the links in the video description. And don't forget to subscribe to Big Sky Life.